Happy Friday night. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's your old pal Shram and Cash. That's right. It's Derby Rocks. We made it another week. We are here to do the thing. We are absolutely not live. It is like 10:30 Thursday night, but we are here.
It's
We are
almost
still,
Friday.
yeah, it's almost Friday. We are still going to give you a show. It's going to be exciting as we stammer through the weeks that were non-existent because I'm a new dad and I don't really have too much going on outside of that right now. And Cash and I both work a lot, so neither of our lives are terribly exciting for the most part. But we are here. We are going to talk about them. We're going to find some interview. It'll be enthralling. We did have a great live, what was recorded live at one point interview with Bruiser Lee from Austin Anarchy last week. That was great. So thank you to them for joining us, and thank you to you guys for hanging out with us, whether you listen here locally on the radio on 106.3 WRFZ. If you follow along on Facebook.com and hang out in the chat room with my mom and other weirdos like that, or you pick us up wherever you get your favorite podcasts. We love and appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have already said far too much. Cashman, what is going on, dude? How are you, buddy?
It's another wonderful week on the radio here in Rochester, New York. On this wonderfully high-rated show on this station in this
The
time slot.
highest,
Yeah,
the
can't be
highest
any
roller
higher than
derby.
this.
Yeah, the highest roller derby radio show in the country.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know if they're technically we are rated, but who knows? Maybe we are. We are.
We're the only roller derby radio show in the country, I'm pretty sure still. So that's why I can say we're the highest rated, even if
That's
we're
true. That's true. I mean,
rated.
and yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, so we're here doing it again, and
Yeah, hey, we're up to like 510 now almost or
this,
something like
I
that.
believe this will be the last episode in the month of April. We will be
It will
into
be.
May next time.
Yes.
So that's exciting. I mean, I do since we do mention the weather, and I'll go really quickly mention it's been pretty warm the last few days,
Yeah,
and
I had a beautiful day today. It was unbelievable. I'm
everything
in
is
shorts and flip-flops right now. It's awesome.
yeah, everything in my yard is greening up. So it's like
Yeah,
we better not see any of that terrible white stuff from the sky. Uh,
sure.
I am not taking my
Yeah,
snow.
don't take your snow brush out of the car
Nope,
just
I'm
yet.
not. It's not going to be my fault this year. Okay, it's not.
I appreciate that about you.
Oh
Good,
man,
good.
yeah. So,
Glad to
but
hear it.
that. So I did want to mention the weather real quick because but it also is like we're getting like in the prime season, man. Things are happening and
Yeah.
lots of things coming up. I'm excited. It's going to be really busy at one point. It's going to be like every weekend for a few weekends. So it's
Yeah, I mean, we got some huge games coming up. We just finished Bob H a couple weekends ago. We've got huge games coming up with Concussion and Puget Sound. We've got some big games overseas. We've got the Gatekeepers playing Magic City. That's on May 2nd. We have Disorder playing Denver. There's this event taking place in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to look it up here in a minute, but yeah, we have a tournament in Mexico that some of the highest ranked teams are going to. So it's going to be exciting. We've got a lot of good derby coming up. We've had a lot of good derby so far this year. Dawn of the Derby is right around the corner as well. I'm really looking forward to that. There's a ton of events all the time now, so there's so much going on. It is awesome.
yeah, and thank goodness to the invention of streaming software because man, we get to see a lot of it. If you just go around and look, man, there's games every weekend all over the world, and so that's cool. So if we're watching you, hopefully you watch us, and maybe like give us an idea when your games are, like email us or be our friend on Facebook and send stuff to us so that we can talk about your league because that's we love talking about our own leagues here in town, but we would love to talk about your league just as much, I think. So uh,
Percent.
which is
Speaking
cool.
of Speaking of our leagues, real quick, that's a great segue into a shameless plug. Coming up here locally in Rochester on May 31st, we are going to have a doubleheader. It's going to be Flower City Roller Derby taking on Cleveland Guardians Roller Derby. That's going to take place at the Dome Arena here locally in Rochester. So come check that out. That's 5:31, May 31st at the Dome Arena. First game's around 2, second game around 4. It's going to be a great day.
Definitely. Yeah, super excited about that. Shared the post multiple times, and I'm super excited. We'll see what get all our friends out there, and it's that's yeah, we got a lot of things in May going on, so it's like holy cow. We'll see if we even have time to do this show once it gets going. It's gonna be tough. It'll be a lot of tape, but man, you guys dig tape, so I think you do.
Yeah, we get some good interviews when we tape too, so it just depends on the week and the spoons that we have.
Yeah, how busy, whatever's going on, yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So very cool. Do we want to talk about our weeks? I
Yeah,
actually,
like I said, we're gonna play an interview. You have 500 and some odd shows. Even if we've replayed 400 of them, that's that's quite a bit. Or even if we've only replayed 100 of them, that's still quite a bit. So there's always something new to hear, something new to listen, some new advice to pick up, maybe. So make sure that you're checking us out. Plus, if you follow us on Spotify and Streaker and all that other stuff, or Spreaker, whatever the hell it is.
yeah.
You can check out around 100 episodes. So make sure you're following along. If you miss an episode, go back and check it out. You never know what you can learn or whose story you're going to hear. So thank you for following along. Thank you for paying attention. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story real quick. There's a lot of sites out there that like kind of like all these pod sites that kind of borrow our show and like highlight it and then allow people to listen to it and stuff on their site. And I mean, if you ever type, Google the show's name, you'll find all these places like, that where they can get it. So there's some places out there that probably have every single episode. But
That would be cool. I
yeah.
haven't seen it, but
No, no, but I've seen some that I've actually gone through and was looking for somebody when they were on, and it popped up on one of those sites first, and it was like, oh yeah, 300 shows ago you had this person on or something. It was like, eek, it's like I don't even think we have that information. Just we are limited on the site we put, but hundreds enough.
yeah,
Get go on a trip and start with the
that's a
first
lot
one.
of derby talk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, besides that, I'm gonna talk about my week real quick. Okay.
Sounds good. Love it. Let's hear it.
It started out well, obviously with you and Mania on Sunday night. There was two Manias. There was a Saturday night Mania and there was a Sunday night Mania. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people who were not happy with any of them. So
They had their ups and downs and some good and some bad and some really bad and it just depends. Do you want like big swerves? Do you want what makes sense? Are you more of a person who likes good matches? Do you care about the storyline? So it just depends on what type of fan you are, I think, but it was entertaining if nothing else.
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And I think I will say this, as a person who does a podcast, it was a little too easy to see what was happening. I mean, in a lot of the matches. So not that we went and did our predictions, and obviously the week before, and it was like some of the big elements. It just was obvious those were going to happen. So, but beyond that, I liked it. I thought there were some great athletic matches. I really was impressed with Jade Cargill. She actually wrestled a pretty good match. I mean, it was like kind of kind of like she steamrolled through her, her opponent sold it like crazy. So beyond that, I think it was a great time. But we had a good time. We had pizza and wings, and it was Anderson's first WrestleMania.
That's in
And
fact, yes.
yeah, and but that was fun. Then later in the week, my flag football season's going, so I'm like the next few weeks I'm gonna have a couple games every week, so that's a lot of fun. I'm not a great announcer when it comes to talking about a sport that I have no. Sometimes I have no idea what the rules are. I understand a lot, but it's like there's still why did it happen? It's like
But
but
why? Because they must.
yeah, but I'll tell you, it's a lot of fun doing it. I learn more about the sport every game, and I sell a lot of pizza at the concession stands.
Sure.
So I have that going on. I had to work that another night late when we had a ceremony for a guy who was they were dedicating the gym to, who had been a longtime coach and an athletic administrator in a high school. And so I got I kind of got pardon me. Oh boy, I just did a no. Uh they they didn't really ask me to stay. They said you have to, so I did.
They voluntold you.
Yeah, so and then nothing on Wednesday, but I just got back from seeing a Pink Floyd movie
Yeah, that's pretty cool,
on
man.
the IMAX theater screen. It was like remastered. It was actually pretty cool. I brought my brother with me, and we both sat.
What was it? Just like the wall or
No,
whatever?
it's called Pink Floyd Live at Pompeii, and
Okay,
it really was a movie that came out before Dark Side of the Moon came out, or right around the same time as Dark Side of the Moon. So and they played a lot of, like, obviously a lot of older stuff. The newest thing they played was off Dark Side of the Moon, so it was pretty good. I like when I was a kid, when I like clamped on to Pink Floyd as one of my favorite bands. We went and like did the whole buy every album, and
sure.
some of their stuff is really weird, though. Some of the really early stuff is really weird, where they just make noises for like 20 minutes on the album. But beyond that, it was a good movie. I had a lot of fun. And now I'm here. We are doing a podcast episode of Derby Rocks, 500 and something or another's. So we are. But how about you, Chris? How was your week?
Yeah, man. Nothing too crazy for me, quite honestly. We recorded Thursday because I was working Friday. Um, It was fine. I think it was a pretty good band, if I'm not mistaken. If it's the show that I was thinking of, they were from Boston. They're called like Minor Moment or Major Moment or something like that. They were a pretty good band. I ended up buying a record for them because they were supposed to play a show in Buffalo, and that got dropped, and then they ended up clinging onto this local show. And because they're like the biggest band, they headlined, but they still had to pay some money because the venue wasn't going to make any money because they didn't really sell any tickets and so on. And I don't know, it was a weird scenario, but they were a pretty good band, nice guys, and one nice woman. And so I bought a record from them. They had signed it. It was pretty cool. So it was a decent time. I always enjoy shows when I can kind of get down to the music. They were like a rockish, like emo pop rock kind of. I don't know, pretty wild, but good stuff. I enjoyed it. Um, as you had mentioned, WrestleMania weekend, there's two nights. I am indifferent on it. I thought, like I said, there was some good, there was some bad. I didn't necessarily love the order of night one. I didn't necessarily love the outcome of some. I thought night two, they should have tied some of night one together. And then we also didn't see The Rock at all, which why? Seems weird. Um, Especially because pretty much the whole main event was because of The Rock, so I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
It's a weird ending to a long weekend. It's a lot of wrestling. It's like, 12 hours when it's all said and done. And that's only if you're just watching the actual wrestling matches, none of the pre-show or press conference or anything like that. So while it is a great weekend, it is also a tiring weekend. I think I fell asleep at one point, at least both nights. Um,
Oh yeah. You know,
so, I mean, I came to and finished strong, but I definitely, caught myself snoozing for a minute or two. So, um, good weekend, good week overall. Pretty uneventful. I actually had a banger day today. I took today off and tomorrow off. We are getting out of town tomorrow, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But I just got a bunch of stuff done around the house. Like I installed a new shower head. I like put new batteries in our outdoor camera. I put WD-40 on some of the hinges. Just like a bunch of like small stuff that you don't necessarily think about that I haven't done in a little while. So I got a fair amount of that stuff done. It felt great. Even did a little bit of cleaning. It was a mostly productive day. Um, and then tomorrow morning we are off to Pittsburgh. We're gonna go down and visit the Rads. Rad and myself will ultimately go to a concert towards the end of the evening, while Double N and Anderson and Mrs. Rad just hang out and do whatever. So yeah, we're gonna do dinner and a couple of things before we break off, and Rad and I will go to the show. I'm really excited. There's a band that I've been listening to for 20 some odd years. They're called Chiodos. They're on a reunion tour, but they're also playing their album in full. So, it's a 20-year um, like anniversary of the album, and it is also um, a reunion. So I'm really excited. I know Rad's a big fan to this band too, so it kind of worked out for us that, him and I can go, and then we can bring the baby down there and stuff like that. The tour's not really coming around anywhere near here, so I'm really excited to go. It'll be a good time, and I like the venue that it's at. I've worked a show there before once. And yeah, it's a nice little spot in PA. It's called the Roxy Inn, and I'm excited to check it out. But other than that, once we get back, I actually have more work, so I'll be back at the montage on Saturday and Sunday this week, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Other than that, things are pretty good though. I will say I hadn't gone to a bunch of practices, and then I went to one practice and I was feeling good, but I had like the weirdest thing happen. I like woke up from a nap earlier this week after falling asleep on the couch for like an hour and a half. Nothing even wild or anything like that. And then like I could hardly move, dude. It was really weird. Like I couldn't get my legs and stuff to work. I was in so much pain. I like made it upstairs and got into bed. I almost ended up going to the hospital. I didn't, but did make it into the doctors the next day, and then got a referral to see an ortho. I've had a bad back for a long time, and I did get some x-rays. I have wedge deformities and some things like that, and some spacing issues in my spine. So we're gonna see what the ortho says and what we can do, because I am in a lot of pain and having like trouble just like existing and doing very basic things, and I'm like a relatively healthy person. So this is sort of a bummer. But I really am trying to get back to practice so I can be ready for Dawn of the Derby. So fingers crossed everything goes all right. I do get one appointment in before we take off, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, other than that, it is mostly good stuff. Everything else is pretty darn good, man. So it's
Awesome.
hard to complain about that.
Well, I hope your back's better. I remember you
Yeah,
mentioned
thank you, man. Like I said, I was pretty active today and it feels pretty okay. Maybe, doing some stuff today and getting it kind of loose was what it needed, but I'm doing stretches. I did get down on the floor and do some of my stretches today. I'm still a pretty active guy. So I don't understand what's going on, but I'm trying to figure it out, and hopefully I'll be ready to go for Dawn of the Derby. So with that being said, I know we don't have too much else to talk about as far as our weeks go, but why don't we go ahead and we're gonna hit a break. We'll come back and we'll squeeze out some scores and some news if there is anything. Sounds good?
sounds good.
Awesome. You're listening to Derby Rocks on 106.3 WRFZ.
Welcome back to Derby Rocks. I'm Cash, and I'm here with Shram and you, and we're gonna do some deet to deet to deet. It's time for some scores, but what a great interview that last one was, and I'm super excited now. But we're gonna do some scores, and
That's great.
if
Good
you
for
only
you.
knew, folks, if you only knew, I was gonna say, I was gonna mention earlier, you know how the biggest thing that kind of puts women off is being a pro wrestling fan. So
Yeah, that's all right though. Who cares? Like, I don't think that's like the worst thing you could be. As long as you're a reasonable guy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was
not
just
like
thinking about
you've done
that.
a radio show about it for 20 years or anything like that, but
Okay.
not like you're super into it.
So let me
Not
get
like
some.
we hang out once a month for hours just to
Yeah.
watch.
Oh, I hate to tell you how much time on Saturday I watched that day. I started
Oh,
at
no, I get it. Yeah, but by the time the pre-show's on, there's
there was
10
a
hours.
there was a whole show at like noon or 1 o'clock, a whole NXT show. So it was like
Yeah.
lots of stuff. But beyond that, we're here to talk sports, scores of games. So I'm
Sports
gonna
scores.
sports. I'm gonna jump in with the closest bouts from the past week in
Yeah, but
WFTDA. We got Boston beating Minnesota 163 to 153. We have Dresden beating Dom City 180, 202 to 183. Rock City beating Sub-Zero Sirens 161 to 141. Chippewa, and that's 20 point. I watched it, and it was a lot bigger before the last jam of the game. They kind of had like a 16-point jam to get that close. So it really was a bigger deficit at that point at the end of the game. So, but it's only 20 points on here. That's what it says. And Chippewa Valley, I said, losing to Fox Cities 165 to 145. And Chicago style 191 over the Rock 163. We've got some games this weekend. Closest predictions. We've got Ann Arbor to pick to beat Chattanooga, Greensboro to pick to beat River City Rollers. Got Southern Oregon. Looks like they're kind of giving the edge over Sierra. North Star is just a little edge. Put your money on them over Bruce City, and those are the closest bouts for this weekend, and those are the bouts to watch as well. Now we do have some MRDA scores, right?
no.
No. Okay.
I don't think so.
I
I
do.
don't
I have
think
a
there
couple
was any
from.
games last week. I don't have any if there are.
I have a couple scores from last week. Um, Quad guards beat Tyne and Fear 268 to 110. And then quad guards beat Inhuman 367 to 11. Those were games obviously over in the UK last weekend. Wow,
Oh, we
that's
did have a couple of ones. So we did have, I'm sorry, we did have Toulouse over Tyne and Feared 268 to 110. And we also had the Inhuman League, or I'm sorry, we had Toulouse trouncing the Inhuman League. Sorry to the Inhuman League. It was 367 to 11.
yeah, is that's what I is Toulouse the quad guards? Because that's what it said. That's what it said on the schedule, quad guards. So same thing I just said.
Yeah. Oh, whoops.
That's okay.
We are professionals at what we do, which is professionally suck
No,
and
no, I think it's funny.
know how to say things. Sometimes we don't even really know how to pronounce the name, so there's that.
Oh, that happens all the
But
time, man. That's
I
unexpected.
appreciate you for bearing with us.
Hey, I do want to mention something. I got a text with Drad. We're gonna have him on before he goes to the World Cup. So
Very cool.
he's definitely willing, wants to come on and talk. I would love to have him on again, but he's been a second time guest, but man, it was a long time ago. So that's really cool thing. Oh, I don't have any other scores or games to
All
talk
good.
about.
While we're doing the show here, we had the Riot from Concussion reach out to us on Facebook from Oregon here. So we're gonna have the Riot from Concussion Roller Derby on the show here soon. So that'll be a good interview. We haven't really had anybody from Concussion on, so
Yeah,
that'll be awesome. Maybe we can get like Tarantula on too.
Kirk. Yeah, I was gonna say Concussion's got quite a team out there. Uh,
Yeah, they're killing it. They are definitely somebody to um they are somebody to keep an eye on, especially as they've got some huge games coming up with these tournaments and so on.
I'm excited, and we do have men's roller derby playoffs this year too, so we can look
Yeah.
forward to see where that happens too. It's going to be interesting. I think a lot of things are going to tilt, but we'll see. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, we're gonna get the playoffs here in the New England area. Then we're gonna get the champs over in Oregon. So I'm pretty sure Concussion is actually hosting champs this year, if I'm not mistaken.
wow, that's going to be fantastic. Oh boy, it's tough to. Oh boy.
Yeah, right. Save up save those pennies, pinch those pennies. We'll definitely get out to the one in Boston or in the New England area, I'm thinking.
Yeah,
Uh, we'll see when that is in relation to summer affair as well, because that might be a tough schedule, but we'll figure it out and hopefully we'll end up there, huh?
yeah. I know that I was asked. I wish I could do it, but there's a juniors tournament in Erie in a couple weeks, and it's I think I got something here at home at the same time, so I can't do it. But it's like I would,
Gotcha.
yeah. There's been a couple things that have been floated my way. It's like, oh, sorry,
Right, yeah, that's how it goes sometimes though.
I'm bummed, but I'm excited because just there's a lot of things happening soon. But
Yeah.
we should probably get out of here.
I was gonna say, well, make sure you get 531 on your calendar. Join us at the Dome Arena, Flower City Roller Derby, and Rochester Area Junior Roller Derby doubleheader. It's gonna be a great event. The day's gonna start around 2. The doors will probably be around 1. We are excited. It's probably gonna be Flower City Roller Derby's last game, home game at least of the season. We'll see how it goes, but there is always the potential for more, but hopefully we'll see you then at the Dome, 531.
Yeah.
We'll see you there. Thank you for hanging
Oh,
out with.
one last thing I gotta say, happy birthday to my son. It's his birthday today, so happy
Hey,
birthday,
happy birthday.
Mike.
Thank
All
you, thank
right.
you, thank you. Cash, man, I love you, buddy. We'll talk soon, all right, man?
Okay, you take it easy.
See you, bud.
Yep.
We'll see you next week.